Imagine this. You have worked at the same company for 5 years. You know the coffee machine's quirks, the rhythm of the weekly meetings, the silent language of the office. Then, one Tuesday, you are fired. No warning, just a meeting in a glass room and a severance letter. 6 months later, a recruiter calls. The same role, the same desk, the same boss. Only the title on the contract is different. You accept. You walk back in. Are you the same person who was fired? Or has the old you vanished, replaced by a stranger wearing your name? This question is not just a puzzle for philosophers drinking wine in ancient Athens. It is a modern psychological earthquake that hits millions of people every year, and almost no one knows why it feels so disorienting. You are about to discover the hidden map of your own professional identity the moment it is dismantled and reassembled. And what you find might change how you see every job you will ever hold. Consider the Ship of Theseus paradox, a classic thought experiment in metaphysics discussed for over 2,000 years. If you replace every single wooden plank of a ship, one by one, is it still the same vessel? The Athenian hero, Theseus, supposedly sailed on that ship, and the people of Athens preserved it for centuries, swapping out rotten planks as they decayed. At what point did Theseus's ship become a replica? In your career, the same puzzle unfolds every day. You are hired with one title, one set of responsibilities. Over time, the projects change, the team changes, your skills evolve. Your professional identity is a ship whose planks are constantly being replaced. But when you are fired and rehired with a new title, the entire hull is pulled apart and reconstructed at once. Your brain registers a break in continuity that it cannot easily reconcile. This paradox is not just ancient philosophy. It is the hidden engine behind the disorientation you feel every time your professional identity is rewritten. If you want to understand how your mind navigates these fractures, subscribe to continue uncovering these evolutionary maps with each new episode. And in the comments, tell me, what planks of your own identity have been replaced without you even noticing? In 2022, LinkedIn data revealed that 4.3% of job switches in healthcare were boomerang hires. A boomerang is someone who leaves an organization and later returns. That single percentage point represents thousands of human beings who walked back through doors they had been escorted out of. And here is what is rarely discussed. Research from business journals like the Academy of Management Journal indicates that these boomerang employees often outperform new hires during their initial job spell. They are more productive, more engaged, and they integrate faster. Why? Because the social and procedural knowledge survives the break. The wiring remains, but the psychological label changes, and the brain struggles to reconcile the two. You feel this tension in your own body when you think about returning to a former employer. There is an electric pull of familiarity mixed with a cold jolt of betrayal. Your mind is running an ancient program designed to track social belonging and hierarchy. When you were fired, the program registered a social expulsion, a threat to your standing in the tribe. When you are rehired, the program cannot override the threat tag. It holds both maps simultaneously. You are a member and an outsider. And that contradiction demands resolution. That contradiction is the very place where your growth begins. If you have ever felt torn between two versions of yourself at work, you are part of a larger pattern. Subscribe to explore these hidden patterns together and see how your own story fits. Drop a comment with the one word that describes what you feel when you think about returning to a place that once rejected you. Derek Parfit, a philosopher who spent decades dissecting personal identity, argued that what matters is not a fixed soul or a static self, but psychological continuity and connectedness. In other words, you are the same person if enough of your memories, beliefs, and personality traits link back to the previous version of you. Your brain uses fuzzy thresholds, not sharp lines. When you return to the same building, the same hallway, the same Slack channels, your brain expects the same identity context. But your contract says something different. Your job title is a linguistic handle, a shortcut your mind uses to locate you in the social matrix. When that handle is swapped, your brain has to recalculate your entire position in the group. Employment contracts typically specify a job title. Changing that title without mutual agreement can breach the contract legally. But the deeper breach is psychological. Your identity at work is not just a line on a PDF. It is a narrative you tell yourself every morning. I am the marketing coordinator. I'm the lead engineer. I'm the one who handles the clients. When that narrative is broken by a firing and then rewritten with a new title, you are forced to rebuild the story from scratch. And here is the part that most people ignore. Your brain treats this rewriting as a small death. The old you is gone. The new you must be constructed out of fragments. Now, pause here. What are you feeling in this moment? If you have ever re-entered a space where you were once rejected, a friendship, a home, a workplace, you know the subtle tremor of unreality. That is your ancestral wiring detecting a mismatch between context and memory. It is the same mechanism that alerts you when a familiar face appears in an unexpected place. Your survival brain is scanning for threats. It found one. Here is the specific study that changes everything you think about Boomerang employees. Researchers who tracked rehired workers found that their performance often exceeds not only new hires, but also their own previous performance. This is not a glitch. It is evidence that your brain can integrate the betrayal signal and the familiarity signal into a more complex, adaptive identity. You carry the knowledge of what went wrong the first time. You also carry the knowledge of the social terrain. The combination creates a hybrid worker who is both cautious and efficient, both distant and integrated. Your ancient survival wiring was never designed to handle corporate reemployment, but it adapts. Your wiring is ancient, but it is not rigid. It learns, it adapts, it integrates the impossible. This is the moment where most people stop, but the real transformation happens when you subscribe and commit to seeing where this knowledge leads in your own life. Before you leave, comment with the title of a role you once held that no longer defines you. Let that version go, right here. So what happens to the old you when you walk back through that door? The answer is unsettling and liberating at the same time. The old you is not erased. That version is sealed inside the firing date, preserved in amber. The new you is a cousin, not a stranger, not the same. A boomerang is not the original arrow, but it follows the same arc. You're not here by accident. You have felt this fracture before, whether in a new job, a new city, or a new role in your family. Your mind carries a map of who you used to be, and every time you cross a boundary of rejection and return, that map must be redrawn. And the more you understand this map, the more power you have over your choices, your emotions, and your future. The question of whether you are still you after being fired and rehired has no single correct answer, but it has a real consequence. Every day you sit at that desk, your brain is running a silent comparison between the you who was fired and the you who returned. And eventually, the Ship of Theseus completes its transformation. Every plank has been replaced. The old title is dust, the new title is real, and you are not the same person who left. You are the person who survived the replacement. That changes everything.